Good morning. What's happening? Happy Wednesday. It's trash day. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode where we at 1182. What's going on? We're going to talk about not commons today. I discovered a fun find in the Goodwill pallet last night. Just doing a little digging, and I will kind of reminded me. I was digging through some bargain boxes, found some good stuff over the weekend. Some cards that you may think are commons, but you might find them in a quarter box, and they could be worth 10, 20, $75. So many diamonds in the rough, says James. Absolutely. So yesterday I look out my window. The bird feeder, man, the birds are just eating the feed up, just devouring it. I think my bag went a little over a week. So well, I need to get some more bird feed. I didn't want to go to, I've been buying it at Menards. Menards is where I've been going. And I'm like, I don't feel like going over to Menards today. But I had to go to the post office, and right on the way is Wild Birds Unlimited. It's literally a mile down the road from my house, right on the way to the post office. I drove by and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna go check out this store, see what it's about. I'm curious. I'm thinking maybe a hummingbird feeder, maybe an oriole feeder also. So I want to get a little advice from, they can obviously, they're specializing in wild bird feed. Menards, they're going to be like, oh, here it is. Here's the bird feeders. But a little in depth when you go to an actual specialty store. So I did stop in, and I don't know about you, but I am stubborn. And when I go into a store, people are always, oh, how may I help you? I'm just looking. That's like, that means don't bother me. I'm going to find it. Even though I don't know what I'm looking for, nor do I know where it's at, I'll figure it out on my own. That's typically how I act in a retail store. So I walk in, young kid employee comes up, blah, 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 does the spiel. And I'm like, okay, cool. Cool. And I start walking away. And then he did ask me a question that reeled me in. And I'm like, well, actually, I could use your help. Because normally I just go, I'm just going to buy this and I'll buy that and call it a day. So actually, he really was very helpful. And so he was showing me along this wall, this is going to be more for every bird. If you want this bird, that bird, this feed's good. These are more specialty for X bird, whatever. Okay, cool. So looking around, I'm like, okay, I think what I like is, and I felt like I was getting a better deal because I was buying in bulk, but I don't think I really will. When I did the math and I'm like, oh, it's a lot. I thought, and this is when you don't run numbers, you think, and usually you think wrong. Man, I saved a lot of money. It was really cheap. And then when I ran the numbers, it's no, it was roughly the same. Because I think I paid $8 or $9 for a 5-pound bag at Menards. And I think I paid $28 at the Wild Birds for a 20-pound bag. So what's that? $1.10 a pound, paid $1.30 or $1.40 at Menards. So buying in bulk, and you can probably buy big bags in bulk at Menards for less than $28. But I felt like I was getting a good deal. So then I had questions about the hummingbird feeders, and I have 2 stands with hooks, 2 hooks on each stand, one over on that side, one over on that side. but I want to put the hummingbird feeder up kind of closer on the other side of like the flower beds on the what would be the that way north. So so then I'm looking at stands and I'm like, well, I'd like to get it closer to like the deck. Like, do you have any like stanchions? Like, I want to put it up like on or near my deck. He's like, oh, well, we have deck mounts. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm looking at the deck mounts and I'm like, I better check with my like the bird feeders. My wife's like, yeah, just do it. But when it comes to the deck, my wife might be like, I don't know about this. So I better check with her. I'm like, I better check with my wife before I buy one of these. So I got the lowdown on bird feeders. And I thought for hummingbirds, I thought there was like hummingbird feed that you just bought like bird food. And so I'm like, so this is when you know you're dealing with like an employee at a store who's really helping the customer and not looking for the sale. Because I was like under the impression that I had to buy the hummingbird feed. Like I have to buy this mix. And so and I'm like, so what's better? And he's like, this is like electrolytes or whatever. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's pretty for a freaking bird. Okay. For a wild bird. Okay. Electrolytes. And he's like, you can just use sugar water. And I'm like, so do I mix the sugar water with this stuff? And he's like, well, you don't have to. You don't have to buy this stuff. And I'm like, I don't have to buy this stuff? Like, who are you? You're not a salesman. Like, I can just from home mix sugar and water and put it in the hummingbird feeder. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, shit. So the more you know. So I think I'm just going to get like a stand and put the hummingbird feeder on the other side of the flower bed. So I left Wild Birds Unlimited with a giant bag of bird feed. And so I get home and I tell my wife, I went to the bird store. And she's like, you're becoming a bird person. And I'm like, I think I've already become a bird person. I think when I purchased the bird feeders and watched the birds, that puts me in that bird category. A birder. So I'm like, my wife was on the couch, being a couch person. So I sat in the recliner and I'm like, eyes glued on. I'm like, oh, look, the birds. My wife's not as excited about this as I am, but I like watching the birds. So that was my day. Exciting. I told my friends that I'm in a chat group. One of my high school friends that were in this text group is a realtor, and so my wife was on the phone. Like it was, and I was like interested in hearing the story as well. And so she has the phone on speaker, like real estate drama, because I don't get much drama. Like the drama I get is eBay messages. Where's my package? It says it's delivered, but it's not in my mailbox. Where did you put it? I'm like, well, I put it in your mailbox. Like, I just want to, I want to respond to those messages. It's not in my mailbox. Where did you put it? And I just want to be like, I put it in your mailbox. Check again. Go out and check again. Come on. So where was I? Oh, so the drama. So I text my friend chat because one of them's a realtor, and I said that there's a little bird right there, little finch, sparrow. I don't know. I'm getting better with bird names. So I was texting them about the drama, and the reason why. Hi, little bird. Oh, there's two of them. Just kind of checking things out right outside my window. What's up? And the other agent that my wife was talking to used the term, and I've never heard this before, and I love it. She said, "I don't want to sound like a petty Betty." I'm like, Oh my God, that's hilarious. I've never heard that term. A petty Betty. Don't be a petty Betty. I'm going to use that term on Twitter when I see all these complainers complaining about every little damn thing on baseball cards. Stop being a petty Betty. So I had to share that term with my friends. And I said, I love listening to the drama because I don't get much excitement selling baseball cards out of the basement. My excitement is stupid questions on eBay. Where'd you put my package? It's not in the mailbox. Oh, well, check between the doors. I'm like, oh, you're 507. I think I dropped it in 508. Go knock on your neighbor's door. I don't want to do that. What do they call it? It's not, I don't think that would be, there's a term like swatting. I feel like that would be a swatting situation. You tell them you put them in your neighbor's mailbox and they go knock on their neighbor's mailbox. And I don't know. There was nothing in my mailbox. And then a fight breaks out and they're like, the dude on eBay said, and then I'm going to jail. So you don't want to, don't do that. It's been a week since I've been drinking mushroom coffee. And there's not like, there's great results, but it's not, I'll just explain. So the mushroom coffee, and when I tell people I'm drinking mushroom coffee, they're like, ew. And I'm like, well, A, I love mushrooms. And B, yes, it sounds gross, but I mean, really, if you explain like most foods, it sounds disgusting. But it's actually, it's good. Like, I mean, it's kind of like the first time you ever drank coffee, did you say, oh my God, this is the greatest beverage ever invented? Fuck no. Fuck no. No, F-bomb. No, the first time you drink coffee, you like, this is fucking gross. Where's the sugar? That's what happens when you drink coffee the first time. Now, I did not do that with mushroom coffee. Mushrooms are not gross. Mushrooms are fucking awesome. I love them. I love morels. I love oh my God, I can eat a portobello sandwich. Just butter it up, put it on the frying pan, bunch of butter, bread, maybe a tomato. Portobello mushroom. Shiitake, give it all to me. Mushrooms, baby. Mushroom coffee. Shane knows what's up. Shane knows what's up. Mushrooms, awesome. So the mushroom coffee, it's a little different. It doesn't taste bad. It doesn't taste good. It's just different in comparison to coffee. If you isolate it, not comparing it to coffee, just mushroom coffee on its own as a beverage, I think it's good. But if you're comparing it to coffee, it's different. You can't compare. It's like comparing, if you were to compare water to coffee. There's water in coffee, but it doesn't taste the same. It's different. So the biggest thing I've noticed with the mushroom coffee is it really does suppress your appetite. I used to want to like snack, and I'd want like a big lunch, and like I'm eating a lot during the day. Now I have my water in the morning, and then I have my mushroom coffee. And then it's like 11 o'clock and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't eat breakfast. And so I kind of have a brunch at like noon. And then I'll like have a snack in the afternoon, and that's it. So it is very helpful in that regard. As far as like remembering shit, because it says like it helps with your memory. I don't know, in like your mind, I don't know if that's really working. I don't know. Maybe the synapse is off. I don't know. I don't really notice a difference between clarity. As far as like no crash, and I think I don't feel as tired. Like I don't get that afternoon crash. And I used to never think it was because of the coffee, the caffeine. But I was wrong. It was totally all the caffeine. Like, it's not the mushroom coffee that's making you and me less tired. It's not drinking a pot of coffee. That's what was making me crash at 2 o'clock. Like, I've been drinking coffee for 6 hours and now I'm not, and I'm crashing. So I think that's where, and there is caffeine in mushroom coffee. It's like half, it's basically whatever's in a cup, it's like half of the caffeine. But I'm only drinking 2 cups of mushroom coffee as opposed to 8 cups of what I was drinking regular coffee. Or yeah, I was probably drinking 8 cups. Now I'm drinking 2. So I think that's helpful. And I've noticed, and I don't know if it's the mushroom coffee or if it's just what I've been eating. You know, I've been eating a lot of vegetables, carrots, celery. I've been eating more bananas and kiwis. So it's good. I feel good. My blood pressure is still super high, but it's not as high. Numbers are going down, still in like danger zone. I told my mom and her friend about it, and I'm like, this was the lowest reading at the doctor's office, and my mom's friend about spit his beer out. So I'm like, yeah, I need to take it down a notch. Limit the alcohol, limit the caffeine, limit the frozen pizza, all that bullshit. So that's where I'm at. Hey, we're gonna talk some baseball cards. We're gonna talk about cards that you may find in bargain boxes that actually aren't really common. They are some good stuff. And in this topic, because of the Goodwill palette, I did find a good card in the Goodwill palette. That looks like, actually, it looks legit like a common, not even a card that you would put in a bargain box. It looks like something that would be thrown away, like junk common. But I also found some stuff in the 50-cent box at the show this past weekend, along with just other stuff that, you know, I'm always on the lookout for. Allen and Ginter, celebrities, non-sports, in the bargain boxes, but they're not all the same. It's kind of like, I guess, Allen and Ginter, like the non-sport Allen and Ginter personalities, I guess, they're not all the same. Like, just because one's $20 doesn't mean they're all $20. Kind of like 90s inserts. Just because this one's 100 doesn't mean they're all 100. Some are some are quarters. Where are we at? Let's go. Here's the link to my eBay store, 99centcards.com. 7 or more at regular price, you'll get 25% off. Also, more shilling next Saturday, May 25th, Memorial Day weekend, the Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive, 3 ballrooms, 175 dealer tables, free admission. And Bratfest is going on across John Nolan Drive, where you can see all kinds of great bands we talked about yesterday. And I use the term great a little loosely. So check it out. Saturday, May 25th, Madison Card Show. Low Roller Scratcher was first in the chat. What's going on? George in the house. What's happening? Herman is here. Good morning. David, good morning. James says this is a good topic. These cards are not commons. That's what we're talking about today. Good morning, Christian. So many diamonds in the rough. Absolutely. And that's kind of what we talked about. What's the secret? The secret is knowing. And you can't. What's up, Shane? Good morning. The secret that we talked about yesterday, there really is no secret when you're finding diamonds in the rough in the bargain boxes. James knows it. I know it. There is no secret. You just got to know what you're looking for. The first thing you got to do is dig. A lot of people just pass the boxes by, or they just look at a few cards and are like, there's nothing in here. They may not know what they're looking for. But if you know what you're looking for and you do take the time to dig, now, not every dealer is going to have good stuff. You got to know where to buy from, and that just takes time. That's not something anybody can tell you. Well, actually, yeah, some people can tell you, hey, go to Nate over at Jennings. He's got good bargain boxes. That'll help. or just kind of look around the room, look at where the bargain boxes are, and if there's people digging with stacks of cards next to them, whoop, there you go. Sound the alarms. Those are good bargain boxes. But then it's on you to find the good stuff. And that's just over time, you've got to discover, hey, this Adam Vinatieri Philadelphia from 1997 is actually a $75 card. And it looks like a common. It's not. Low Roller says, I listed soccer cards and now missing is hockey, NASCAR. I did list a couple soccer cards I had in my coffee table in the rec room. Low number. I didn't realize one's numbered out of 5. It's a relic out of 5. And one's a relic out of, I think, 25. I think I didn't list them. They're Liverpool. And I think John told me that 70s card show says Liverpool's not good. So I just assumed they were crappy cards. But I listed them last night. I'm like, I have no idea. The numbered out of 5, I think I listed for $50. It's got like 4 watchers. Trent Alexander from Liverpool, and then the other one, Milner from Liverpool also. I think it was just in a bulk buy that somebody was buying into breaks, and they must have had Liverpool. They're both impeccable from the impeccable. And so I'm guessing they bought Liverpool or got Liverpool in an impeccable break. And they were in a box. So they're not like really good cards. They're good to me for a low roller scratcher like me. George sold a lens today, the cheapest one that I had listed, and at 25% of what they sell for at retail shops. It was a pain. So many more questions that I wanted to say it's not for sale anymore. Oh. Who was I talking? It might have been James that I was talking to about this on Saturday. When you sell clothes on eBay, it's like, well, what's the measurements from armpit to armpit? And it's like, oh my God, I don't know. And it's all these questions. It's like, I want to sit it and forget it. Set it and forget it. Like old Ron Popeil said. Just eBay listings, set it and forget it. I don't want to answer all these questions. What's the measurements? Armpit to armpit. Victor, good morning. No offense, Cubs. I know. Hey, Cubs made some moves. Our buddy Ethan Roberts, he's on the move. He's actually getting into real game action for the first time in over 2 years. Ethan Roberts has been called up to AA Tennessee, the Smokies. So hopefully we'll see some outings from him in Tennessee and on his way to Iowa or Chicago. He's not on the 40-man roster anymore, so some moves have to be made. But the Cubs are in the position that they need some relief pitchers. They did trade for Tyson Miller. A lot of moves. Yohendrick Pinango was called up from South Bend, and he's in AA Tennessee. Ethan's at Tennessee. Hayden Cantrell went to Iowa, and Eduardo Nunez went to AAA Iowa. Cubs traded Jake Slaughter to Seattle for Tyson Miller. And that's, people are like, oh, I can't believe we got rid of Jake Slaughter. Well, Jake Slaughter was blocked on both sides. Did we talk about this yesterday? I think we talked about this yesterday. Blocked on both sides. Like, come on. Not even a top 30 prospect. We need relief pitching. Yay, Tyson Miller. George says they retail for about $100. I sold it for $25 because it's just sitting on a shelf, never being used, and I was wanting to make a quick, easy transaction that gave the buyer a good deal. Wah, wah. Famous last words. Shane is headed to the river to fish before work. Figured I would tune in on the way there. Hey, good luck. Good luck. Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. James says he has 4 hummingbird feeders, sugar water. Got about 10 little bastards flying around. Hey, that's cool. I want some little bastards flying around. They'll be like, hey, look, a hummingbird. George says, of course, the other lenses, which are more rare, that I listed at closer to retail price, but still around 70%, got no bites. Well, no, they want a deal. Brian says hummingbirds drink sugar water like the cockroach alien from Men in Black. I don't know if I'm sure I saw Men in Black, but it's not one of those movies. Was that the second one? Independence Day. I'm sure I saw Independence Day because I think that came out when I was in high school, and then Men in Black. Stuke, what's up? Good morning. Max says sugar water does way better than the red orange BS they sell in stores too. All right, sugar water it is. Johnny Boy Cards, good morning. Florida baseball card dude in the house. Double A Cards. Hey, by the way, Double A Cards, and I did not promote this on the show, which I should have done. We did a Twitter giveaway for Card Dealer Pro, and for 5,000 free scans, I should probably take the pinned post down. Unpin. All right. There we go. So let's present. Double A Cards was the winner. 5,000 free scans. So congratulations to Double A Cards. I probably should have promoted it here on the show. I failed. But there you go. Double A Cards winning some scans from Card Dealer Pro. Low Roller Scratcher, I'm promoting your video on easy hits for you. Well, thank you. Shane says, bird story time for both. Floating the river yesterday and floated past an eagle's nest. Very cool. With an adult and youngling. Is that like the beer? Oh, that's Yingling. The other adult eagle was soaring low across the river hunting. Got some nice vids. Very cool. Very cool. Porter's in the house. Good morning. Kyle is here. What's happening? Johnny M. Good morning. Ask them for address. Get pic of their house from Google. Send it to them. Tell them you left it in the mailbox. I never hear from them again. I left it. You're going to have to go talk to your post office. John says your hair is shrinking due to the mushroom coffees. And mushrooms are gross. I disagree. I got a haircut last week, Friday. Uneventful haircut, which is, I think that's what you want. I think that's what your goal. Getting a haircut is uneventful. Like if it's eventful, that's no good. Like they cut half your ear off. Well, you don't want that. I agree with Shane. Mushrooms are amazing. Max says mushrooms are the best veggie out there. Victor says, go mushrooms. Currently having my mushroom coffee. There you go. Victor turned me on to it. I had it, but I just wasn't consuming it. Just sitting in my pantry. And then Victor sold it on me. Like, okay, I'm going to try it. Finally, after 2 weeks. And now it's like, at first it's like, man, this is expensive. Now it's like, man, I'm running low already. Shit. Brian says, I think beef bone broth is pretty much steak coffee. There you go. See? George says a bunch of butter makes anything edible. That's true. That's very true. Paul Carl's in the house. Good morning. Brian's here. Good morning. Tripping on mushroom coffee. Nice. That's right. John says mushrooms aren't veggies, folks. Johnny M says mushrooms in the 80s were the best. Philly Joe dislikes the textures, so mushrooms are out. What kind of texture does a mushroom have? I guess it depends on. Like a morel has a way different texture. You probably don't get morels in Philly, though. Are morel? I would think Pennsylvania. I don't know. Philly, maybe Western Pennsylvania. I have my uncle Jack. I should share more Uncle Jack stories. Uncle Jack, he's quite the character. He's cats have 9 lives. Uncle Jack has 90 lives. Like he's like, how in the hell is he? He calls himself the cockroach because nothing's gonna kill him. It's like I've got too many people to and so he's got like a trach or whatever because he had cancer. So he has to talk like this. And he's like, I can't die yet. I got too many people to piss off. That's Uncle Jack. So he's been to prison. He's got some good prison stories. He's quite the outlaw, Uncle Jack. So Uncle Jack was over, and he's a big mushroomer. Probably all of the above. I bet he did the 80s mushrooms with Johnny. And he does the morels out in the forest. So his son is now like I see his son post on Facebook like all these mushrooms and 100 pounds of morels, and they're like $50 a pound. So he's like, I created a monster. Uncle Jack. We need more Uncle Jacks. In fact, I think we're coming up on Anwan Fun Days, and Uncle Jack was over at. He stopped by when I was at my mom's house this past weekend, and he always comes back for Fun Days. We have a few beers. I wrote some comments that he made in the notes. I'm like, these are notes that need to be shared. Like, we can't just keep those hidden from the world. Man, when did I know it would have been June of whatever year. Uncle Jack. There we go. Way down at the bottom. Wow. Some of these I can't say. I can share this one. A couple of these I cannot share. I could, but I'd rather drop the F-bomb because they're a lot crude. So this is Uncle Jack, and I'm gonna do it in Uncle Jack. This is how I talk. So yes, talks to the tray. She's 39. I've been chasing her. I keep telling her I'm the same age as Robert De Niro. Because he's whatever Robert De Niro's age is. He loved going to Iowa City. I'm not going to tell you why. And I will share this one though. He says, and just I'll let you imagine what he's referencing when he says this. When I close my eyes, nobody's safe. I'll let you draw the conclusion to what that means. That's Uncle Jack. I thought I wrote some notes down on his prison story because I asked him like one fun. I'm like, tell me about prison stories. He'd talk about he was a guard. They'd make their own alcohol. And he worked in like the kitchen. And so he was able to get some of the supplies, and he'd, for like cigarettes, he'd bury bread because the yeast or whatever. I don't know. Well, yeah, yeast for the alcohol. That's Uncle Jack. So hopefully I get to see him and hear more stories in a couple weeks at Anwan Fun Days. Let's see. Kyle says mushrooms are fungi and fun to eat. Very good for you. Absolutely. Paul says hobby evolution, body evolution, weight loss challenge. There you go. Brian says just watched Gassy just watched Cardio the Pro versus Chronazio video. Wow, Chronazio is slow and expensive. Crazy people use it. Must be. I tried using Chronazio like way back. I tried it again a few years ago. I tried it again right before I started using Cardio the Pro. Never liked it. First time I used Cardio the Pro, I'm like, damn, this is easy and fast. Yeah, Chronazio is something that, hey, I know some people use it. Some people like it better than Cardio the Pro, and that's cool. It was just not for me, and I tried it, and it's not like I just gave up. I tried it 3 different times, just never worked. Cardio the Pro, boom, first time, yeah, I think, and I had some questions. Like I didn't just learn it right away. Talking Cardio the Pro, I had some questions, and those were answered. And boom, I was off to the races. Victor says, I went from a pot of coffee to 2 cups of mushroom coffee. Same. I was drinking an entire pot of coffee a day. Now I drink 2 cups of the mushroom coffee. And the very first time, and this is when I knew I think I had an addiction to the coffee. Last week was Tuesday. It might have been last Tuesday was my first day on the mushroom coffee. And so 2 cup, my mug that I have fits 2 cups. And as I was getting to the end of that mug, I was like jonesing, like I need more coffee. Cause that's what I would do, You know, I was like a chain coffee drinker. Like, oh, I need more coffee. And what I noticed, I was getting near the end. Once I finished it, I was good. Like I didn't have that craving that I needed more coffee. And that was instant. Like, and now it's like, I'm good. I drank my coffee and I'll drink water and I'm good to go. John says mushrooms are closer related to the shit under my left big toenail than an orange. Well, an orange is a fruit. Your cheeks look better. Seriously. Yeah, sometimes my cheeks are rosy red. Limit drinking your soda for diabetes. I don't have diabetes. But I should limit drinking soda so I don't get diabetes. Diabetes. If you do cocaine, then the doctor will focus less on your blood pressure issues. There you go. And limit scratch-offs for your gambling problem. I don't think I found any more Simpson cards. Harlan's in the house. Good morning. John says A&G celebs do sell. I get them in huge collections and easily turn them over. Absolutely. Red Light 34. What's happening? If you like birds, you should get the Merlin app on the phone. Is this a bird identifier? My wife goes, I bet there's an app that you can like take a picture of a bird and find out what kind it is. I'm like, oh, I'm sure there is because there's a weed app that I use. And she just looks at me funny. And she goes, what? And I'm like, yeah, I take pictures of weeds to see what they are. I'm like, I'm curious. Merlin, I'm going to look at it now. Hey, speaking of things that my wife thinks I'm weird about, Merlin bird ID. Okay. Merlin chat. We want the bird. All right. I'm downloading now. So we had dinner last night and I poured myself a glass of milk. And my wife goes, are you drinking milk? And I said, yeah. She goes, for dinner? Yeah. What's so weird about that? Not only that, we're sitting and it's almond milk, by the way. And we're sitting at the table and there was just a little bit left of the almond milk. So I brought it's not a jug, it's a carton. The milk carton to the table just to finish it off. And my wife goes, what is that? And I go, what is what? She goes, she looks, and she goes, let me see your glass. So she takes my glass. She goes, ew, it's chunky. I said, it's not chunky. She goes, yes, look at these chunks. And that's ice. And she's like, that's even more weird. I'm like, I like iced milk. What is weird about iced milk? I want it cold. She goes, it's in the refrigerator. I said, that's not cold enough. People like ice water. I enjoy iced milk. I like ice cold milk. She thinks that's really weird. I think it's really good. Ice cold milk. I don't know. Royals 417. We're downloading the Merlin app. Okay. Ooh, we're going to open it. Now, do I have to take like, we're just going to skip that. Location. Yep. Oh, hey, we're just going to allow you while I'm using my app. Install a bird pack. Let's skip that part. I don't know what that means. Ooh, the bird of the day. No. I want to hear this bird. Oh, I thought I was. That's a small and fierce falcon. Ooh. All right. Well, thank you, Red Light 34. Now I'm going to be playing on the Merlin app. Last day of school for Royals 417, sending the kids home for the summer. Frees up some time for cards. There you go. Art Green, good morning. John says, the longer you dig in a bargain box, the less of a bargain you get on a supposed diamond in the rough. That's why you've got to know what's in there. Now, here's the key. I'm usually digging from sellers that I know they have good stuff. If I go to a new dealer that I don't know what's in there, I usually grab 1 or 2 piles. And I don't spend the whole day looking at one dealer's bargain boxes and not buying anything. I will go sit down or stand. Usually I stand, and I'll grab a pile. I don't sit unless it's a good one. So I'll grab a pile, and sometimes it only takes 1 pile and I walk away. If there's 89 Donruss and 90 Donruss and I see a lot of that in there, I'm off to the next table. So it's either a really bad box and I don't even need to look at the pile. Okay, I'm on to the next box. Pick up a pile. It's like, well, there might be something. Pick up a second pile. Sometimes I'll go through a whole row. But if you find a good box, like, I found a great box on Saturday, and I didn't spend as much time because I was running a table myself, so I didn't spend as much time, but I spent a good amount of time digging through those boxes, but I also pulled a lot of great shit. So time always is money. James doesn't have to dig is the best answer. Liverpool is 3rd place this year. Paul says, that's why I love sourcing on eBay. The robots can find listings of stuff I want and create stacks of cards for me to look through quickly. Then I snipe the hits. And I love digging through card show boxes. Alexander Arnold. Yes. James Milner. Yes. Those are the 2. Soccer cards are always hard for many reasons. Probably discussing this very matter with the good doctor soon. I know nothing about soccer cards. That's why I just stay away from them. But I had these and I was on the couch. Boom, list. Boom, list. Set it and forget it. Orlando is here. Good morning. Learning and sports cards with Mr. C. What's going on? I think you're new to the chat. What's a good rule of thumb for digging through a bargain box and judging the box as promising or move along? Hey, that's a great question that I just kind of just answered. I grab a pile. Sometimes you can tell without even looking if it's going to be garbage. I usually grab 1 stack, and typically from 1 stack I can tell if it's going to be good, bad, or ugly. And sometimes it might take a couple stacks. On Saturday when I was digging through, I think I looked through a whole row of a 50-cent box before I decided I think there's going to be some good stuff. So it depends what you're looking for. And this is the thing with bargain boxes also. Not everybody knows everything about values. I can go through. James and I usually look for similar things. But I can go to a box after James has already looked through it, and I can find some great stuff that he left behind. And I'm sure he can find some great stuff that I left behind. Because we're not always digging out the exact same things. There's still bargains to be found. You can find good stuff at the National when they've been pillaged for 5 days. You can still find diamonds in the rough on Sunday. So don't sleep on end of the day bargain boxes. If you're at a 1-day card show, and just think about that. Just think about that. You can still find great deals on Saturday, Sunday at the National, where hundreds of people have looked through these boxes, just pillaged them for 4 days, 5 days, and you can still find something good. Now, look at your local card show, 1-day card show. How many people are digging through those boxes? 10, 20 max. I bet there's some good stuff. So yeah, my rule of thumb is grab a pile, and usually within 1 or 2 piles, at most 1 row. I won't go more than 1 row. If I go through 1 row and don't find a single card, and usually it doesn't get to that. Here, if I go through an entire, and so this is the example from Saturday. So the reason I went through an entire row was A, it was before the show even opened, so I had time. B, I found some cards that I was like on the fringe about. Like, well, I think, there were a couple Jeters, and, if I get the discount, get them for 40 cents, I can make 50 cents. Yeah, it's only a dime. But if I find other stuff, it's like, that's easy money, do it on volume. So there were a few cards that I found in that row, but it's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to keep looking. That's the thing. Like, if there were only 3 cards I found, I would have just put those 3, say it was 3 cards back. But just in case. And then once I got towards the back of the row, it's like, oh yeah, there's some good stuff in here, and go on to the second row. And then all of a sudden you find a stack and there's just loaded. But every box is different. So my rule of thumb, grab a pile, sometimes a second pile. And usually if you don't find a single card within 2 piles, cut your losses, go to the next table. Dan's in the house. Good morning. Once Ethan makes it back to the big leagues, he should put a card in his pocket and sign it first game back post-injury. Hell yeah. George says, tell him to stop off at Smoky Mountain Knife Works and pick up a nice blade for you to do your breaks. There you go. Mark, good morning. Headed to Dallas later this week. Very cool. Low Roller says, you found Manny Pacman boxing cards in bargain boxes since it's in your thumbnail. I have. I certainly have. Manny Pacquiao. John needs to get some steak coffee. Stuke says they do have that cat poop coffee for those that dare. John says Southeast. Oh, whoa. That was weird. There was like a bird that flew right at my window, and then a turtle dove came and swooped at him. Southeastern Pennsylvania, most likely the mushroom capital of the country and or world. Okay, there you go. So you probably have morels in Pennsylvania. Unicorn Cupcake says, did you ever help your Uncle Jack off a horse? No, never did that. Shane made it. Have a good day. He's fishing. Uncle Jack stories, a new segment. Love it. Man, I should record Uncle Jack sharing some stories. He's much and he's much tamer now that he's in his 70s than, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Oh boy. Harlan says, I bet Uncle Jack changes his own oil. And you know what? Harlan? You know what my Uncle Jack's real name is? Harlan. Yep. Uncle Jack's real name is Harlan. My grandpa's name was Harlan. My grandpa was Harlan Hyman. Harlan Hyman. And Jack is Harlan also. I don't know what Uncle Jack's middle name is, though. Max says the good part of Pennsylvania has Amish, so I'm sure there are mushrooms. Low Roller says card arrived half in the card saver with a small scratch on the face. Cheap card, but I was planning on getting it graded for my PC. Picture attached of how it came out of the envelope in your eBay. Well, thank you. He's now copying and pasting my eBay feedback. Did Uncle Jack get beat up in prison and have a huge fight? No. So he was older when he was in prison. So he was in prison in like the 90s. So he would have been probably in his, how old? He might have been in his 50s, early 50s, late 40s, early 50s. So they called him Pops, I think is what they called him. Pops, because he was like the old man. So he was respected. Tiger727, the mushroom didn't know what people wouldn't hang around with him. He said, I don't get it. I am a fun guy, but John says LRS has to go to prison for family reunions, San Quentin fun days. Paul says the beauty of Chrono Card is that for $200 a year and $25 a month For the export, I have unlimited singles, lots listing when combined with my scripts. Can't beat that price anywhere. John says $500 a year. Yes. To put it in simpler terms, $500 a year. Mr. Archer, good morning. Sal Dougie, good morning. I'm going to see the Brewers play the Pirates. Who do I want to win? It just depends on the standings. It really doesn't matter at this time of year. It's only May 15th, so standings don't matter. But I think we want the Pirates to win because I think the Brewers are in first place, aren't they? NL Central. Brewers are in first place by a game and a half. Pirates are in third place. So we want the Pirates. Go Pirates. Sorry, Sal Dougie. Go Pirates. Card hobbyist. Mushrooms are more closely related to humans than to plants. John says you've kind of given up once you download a bird app. I think so. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being a bird watcher. Ray from Philly, good morning. Happy Hall of Fame Day. Oh, is the video dropping today? Baseball card Hall of Fame. John says, by the way, I have several sets from the 30s of Useful Birds of America. I've obviously given up. See, that's something that I'm not looking into cards of birds. I'll watch them. There's not going to be any 1 Million Birds project. Orlando voted. Paul says, I think we should all do the Body Evolution Challenge. John says, Ray, the wrong Walter Johnson got in. I'm storming your house later today. Are the results in? Herman collects chickens, and he is winning at life. Almond milk is as close to milk as mushrooms are to oranges, and I'm okay with that. Paul says we got to get our 91 score baseball bodies this summer. Cooter's in the house. Good morning. Max says, ice in your milk is weird. Turn your refrigerator on. So you couldn't drink from the teat. Good morning, Flawed Thinker. Johnny M says, new game for Friday. Name that bird sound. There you go. Paul says, name that bird sound. Everyone is tied for first with 0 points. I don't know. Red light. He might get us. If it looks like Little Rock Connie's box, then move along. Shane, what's happening? About to spend 30 to 35 hours over 4 days going through dime, quarter, and dollar boxes. I need to know what I'm looking for. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, Connie's box has been picked through by everyone. I lost my swatch in Connie's box once. You want interesting, expensive coffee, Kopi Luwak. No, I don't want interesting or expensive coffee. Let's see. Stuke says, I'll be working the Dallas Card Show for my Minnesota LCS next to Golden. Stop by and say hi. Card Hobbyist says, is that the monkey poop coffee? Yes. Civet shit. Porter says, I think you should eat mushrooms with Uncle Jack, then chronicle his adventures. Sal Dougie wants the Brewers to win. So talked about what's my strategy when it comes to the bargain boxes. You got to know what you're looking for. And some of the things look like commons, and that's why people pass them over. Like, oh, it's an Allen and Ginter base card. It's not worth anything. Guess what? The Frisbee Golf, Paul, I think his name's Paul something. That's like a $20 card. The Manny Pacquiao. It used to be like a $75 card. I think it's come down. That was probably COVID prices. It's come back down to reality for a common, $20. Same with the Dave Portnoy from Barstool. It's about a $20 card. So whenever I run into, and it's usually not, I mean, that's stuff you typically don't even find in quarter boxes. They would be in bulk commons probably. So a lot of the non-sport Ginter or non-baseball Ginter cards, Manny Pacquiao, Tony Hawk, the Rocky and Thunder Lips and Mr. T and I can't remember his name from Rocky. Ivan Drago, those cards sell well. Manny Pacquiao, Tony Hawk, Portnoy, the Egg. Cryptocurrency is still a really big one. There's a bunch of those Ginter cards that they're in the base set and they sell really well. One that I pulled out of the Goodwill, one of the Goodwill boxes last night, Adam Vinatieri, 97, Pacific Philadelphia. You probably won't find it in quarter boxes. It's going to be in a common box, but it's a $75 card. The one that I pulled last night has some corner dings. I think I priced it at 50, but it gets a lot of traction. What I picked out of the 50-cent boxes on Saturday, the Sandlot cards, and I'm thinking I can and I didn't know the prices on these Sandlot inserts. They were in 2018 Topps Archives. I'm thinking, these are probably, I can sell these for $2 or $3. Make a little bit of profit on these. Little tiny margins. Bigger margins. They sell for between 10 and $20. I sold Benny, was it Benny? I think Benny the Jet Rodriguez, I sold for $15. The other one's Ham Porter, sells in that range as well. And then a couple of the other ones that I found are in the $10 range. The Will Ferrell cards, those sell for, I started listing those at like $5 and realized one sold right away. And I'm like, I better check the comps. And they're like $20 cards. So I hurried up and revised the other listings before they sold. So somebody got a great deal at the $5 mark. I can't remember. Those were in 2015 or 2015 archives for the Will Ferrell with the various teams at spring training. So keep on a lookout for those. What else did I have in the thumbnail? I had Vinatieri, Pacquiao, Portnoy, Sandlot, Will Ferrell. I think that's what I had. I thought I saw, yes. Brian says Pat McAfee. Yes. 2015 Topps football. Pat McAfee. His rookie sells for about $10. I think he's got a Donruss card as well. So it sells for around the same. Those have come down. They used to be in the $20 range, but you'll still get a solid 10, maybe even 15 for the Pat McAfee card. So those are some things that they look like commons, and a lot of people pass them by in bargain boxes. Those are the types of cards that you can find at the end of the day at a card show or the end of a weekend card show. They're still sitting in a bargain box because most people don't realize the value they have. Max says, I'd argue that those are still commons. And, since they're base cards, you're not right. You're not wrong. It would be the same as saying a Ronald Acuna base rookie card is a common. So, I guess what your definition of a common is. It's a base card. Are all base cards commons? If you think all base cards are commons, then yes, it's a common. If all base cards are not commons, not a common. Cooter's going to be in Dallas Friday. I will come say hello. Bitcoin rookie cards. There you go. Crypto. Billy Joe says A&G minis or regular sized cards. Regular sized. But the minis have premium. The regular sized cards is what I'm talking about. The minis have even more value. If it's a $20 regular sized card, the mini might be 30 or 40. I don't know. John says, if you know where to look, then the results are in. Baseball Card Hall of Fame needs to hire better security. Uh-oh. I'll wait till the video releases. I'm okay. Matt Skaggs in the house. He'll be set up at the Madison Card Show Saturday, May 25th. Come see him. Max says commons or base cards, non-parallels, non-short prints. So there you go. Then I would say the Allen and Ginter cards are commons, but so is a $50, $100 Acuna rookie card, since it's I don't consider that like a 52 Topps Mantle. Is it a common? It's a base card. It's a high number though. So does that make it not? It's more uncommon. But what's a non-short print Mickey Mantle? Is that a common since it's a base card? Or is there a different year after this year? Card Hobbyist says desired commons. Hobby definition for decades has been commons, semi-stars, stars. Not all base cards are commons per our hobby standards. I agree with that. And that's just based on what John says here. I would totally agree with that. Low Roller says, why you listed Anthony Edwards rookie card in your store? You should have listed last week. I know. I fucked up on that one. I listed a couple of them a few days ago, and they haven't sold. And then I listed a few more last night, and then they lost. So you snooze, you lose. So probably won't sell now. Cooter says, I'm always in the hunt for vintage high numbers in the bargain boxes. Nothing better than pulling a 66 or 67 high number in easy turn. Max says, you're abiding by the dated Beckett classification system. I wouldn't say it's dated. I mean, it's still, I don't consider a Ronald Acuna Topps Update rookie card a common. What makes it a common? Just because it's a pack pulled card. Why was it a common? Like, if that makes no sense. That makes no sense saying it's a dated classification system, because back in the day, there were the same amount of Tony Gwynn rookie cards than there was. Am I arguing with myself here? What makes it a common? It's a good point. Because they were all there's the same amount. There's always been the same amount. I don't know. But I don't consider it a common. I'm going by the dated classification system, whether I believe it or not. John says, start your own hobby. Define it the way you want. You're an ass arguing this point. Dude's just being a contrarian. Brian says, it's common based on the chance to get it is how I look at it. Commons or non-stars? There you go. I think this is a good poll question. I bet Max is the only person that believes what he's saying. Does anybody agree with Max on this point? I don't think so. Let's see. Low Roller says, what is going to happen to your wrestling magazine cards? It got delisted in your store. So will you sell it in your bargain boxes now? That's a good question. Yeah, the ones that didn't sell, I might throw in my dollar box, WWF magazine cards. There's some good ones that didn't sell. I might just relist it, buy it now, and eventually they'll sell. I'll probably throw them in a dollar box. I want to do more dollar boxes, so that'll give me the opportunity to put more stuff in there. Brian says, don't forget about the Topps Through the Years cards from the 21 flagship series. Sold the Bo Bichette rookie auto Through the Years insert for $15. Bought it for $25. Yes, those still sell for some weird reason. But hey, so do Manny Pacquiao and Dave Portnoy cards. So is it silly? No, not at all. Unicorn Cupcake says all commons, but desirability is the difference. Cooter says common is a term applied to the player, not the number of cards. Yes, Matt agrees. I agree. Thank you, Cooter, for explaining it how I could not. Brian says in TCG, common means something different. Now I understand why we are getting confused. Aha, there you go. But Max has started a sports cards guy. Where do you go? Max is hiding now. All right. That's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. Unicorn Cupcake says sometimes Bob Hamelin is a semi-star. Now he is a common. Or was he always a common? Bob Hamelin, I don't know. He in 1990, what year was he? 91, 92? He probably was not a common. He was rookie of the year. So at one point, he was not a common. And then he didn't have the career that he started with, and he became not common because of the player, as Cooter so eloquently stated. It's about the player, not the card production. Max says it's okay to disagree. I do both. He's working. Let's see. You found Simpsons Quarters box. It's a good seller on your eBay. I don't know. Did I sell a Simpsons card? Maybe I sold a Simpsons card. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. You'll get some good deals. You won't find $75 cards for $25 in my store, but you'll find some good deals. Buy 7 or more at regular price, and you'll save 25% at checkout. Don't forget the Madison Card Show is coming up Saturday, May 25th. at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. I should have the dates locked in this week, hopefully, fingers crossed, locked in this week for July, August, September. So just waiting on the contracts. So hopefully I'll have that so I can get cards printed and ready for May 25th. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll do it again tomorrow. See you then.